Welcome back to the Justin Wenzel Podcast. On this show, we like to have guests that have a story to tell, an expertise in something, and we like to give them an opportunity to just kind of show you guys what they're made of. And today we have a really special guest. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, make sure you click subscribe, make sure you comment, show Lisa some love. And Lisa, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Justin. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah. A little bit nervous too, but that's okay. Yeah.
We're always nervous, right?
Okay.
Like it's just, you're on camera and it's like not natural. But
yeah.
The good news is this is just fun. We get to talk about some stuff that you're passionate about. And I kind of want to dive right in. So,
yes, awesome. I'm excited.
You are an IV nurse, correct? And you own your own business. And tell me a little bit about, what got you into the field that you're in right now?
Okay. Well, I've been a nurse for over 15 years, and most of my experience was working in the emergency department. I worked at UCLA for my entire career. Before I did the emergency department, I worked with oncology patients, and something that I loved about that was just getting to build relationships with people and really walk with them on their journey, providing the best care. I learned a lot in the emergency department and developed a lot of expertise, but something about the emergency department is you don't get to build relationships with people. They're really just there on their worst day, and then you patch them up or stabilize them, and they go home, and you don't see them again until they're having another bad day. So when I had an opportunity to start this business, I was really excited about it because I knew I would be able to develop relationships with people again and help them on their health and wellness journey, just to see them have optimal results. And health and wellness is something that I'm really passionate about. So
back up just a second, because like you said, you're seeing people on their worst day.
Yeah.
What does that make for your day?
What do you mean?
Like if you're always surrounded around people that are coming in, car accidents, bullet wounds.
Oh yeah, you can get compassion fatigue. You can become like almost desensitized to those things because it can be really hard to emotionally connect with your patients on a daily basis when every day is their worst day.
Yeah.
And also people can get really angry at you. So I worked in the front end where I was like checking patients in, and people would get really upset because there would be long wait times.
Right.
The ER that I worked at was extremely busy, and a 5-hour wait time to be seen would be very common. And so it would just be really hard because I would be trying to take care of people the best that I could and be compassionate and patient, but people were constantly angry at me, even though there's really nothing I could do about it,
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I'm sure, a lot of people get into nursing because of the rewarding part of like helping and maybe, saving a life and doing things like that. But overall, when you're around what sounds like a lot of negativity, it can be fatiguing. It can be frustrating. It's like, what did I really sign up for? Yeah,
there was a lot of that. Yeah, definitely. And
did it take its toll on your mind?
I don't know if I feel like it just took a toll on me, and that I didn't feel like I was making the difference that I wanted to anymore. I wanted to be in a position where I could help people, and they would express gratitude, and I would be making a personal impact on their life.
Right.
And I didn't feel like I was doing that in the ER anymore. So
as a nurse in the ER, your job is to get somebody stable and release them back to like their normal world. So now what you're doing is taking somebody who's doing good.
Yeah, usually well. Yeah.
Right, usually well, and taking them to feeling
taking them
amazing.
To the next level. Yep, exactly.
Now
which I
that's
love.
Rewarding.
Yeah.
The other day I put a post out on Facebook, and I said, and this is just what it made me think of. I said, you have two types of people that post a lot on Facebook. Okay. You have people that are talking about wins, progress, becoming their best self. And then you have people that air out their dirty laundry.
Yeah.
And I said, if those two groups of people met, right, which one would it be productive or would it be soul sucking?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like funny because you would think like maybe it would balance it out. But I think that one emotion, right, one of like mental fatigue and negativity and all of that probably outweighs the positivity, right? But if you're able to take yourself out of a negative situation and go into a good situation where you're bringing extra light to, that energy is going to have a lot of influence. And it's going to have a lot of influence on your clients, and it's going to have a lot of influence on you. Yeah,
that's my hope.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. So obviously that was like your biggest inspiration. But I want to kind of talk about what everybody's talking about.
Okay.
NAD. I mean, NAD is fantastic, but why do you think it's making so much noise right now?
NAD, they call it the fountain of youth. NAD is a coenzyme that naturally exists in every cell of your body, and it depletes as you age. So when you supplement NAD and you're repleting those stores, it can help slow down aging. It can help people feel fantastic. So, and I feel like almost everybody should be on NAD. Really? So yeah, everybody, if you're human and you're aging, then you need NAD because as we age, you're depleting your stores, which accelerates aging. And then there's other side effects of just having a depleted NAD. So
how do you think NAD should be administered? In other words, what's the best way to administer it? Pill? I've used the pills, the nasal spray, the drip or the injection, the sub-Q. In your opinion, what's the best way to go?
I think a combination of subcutaneous or IV therapy are going to be the best. So subcutaneous injections are great because you can do it at home. And so that's probably what I treat my patients with the most. When you're using the subcutaneous injections, we can come up with a custom treatment plan, and you can inject every day if you like, or we can inject every other day. NAD has a short half-life, so usually I recommend clients to inject at least a few times per week. Most of my clients are on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, and some clients that need a little bit more, that need more of a boost, we may have them on a daily schedule for a little while just to build up their stores. Doing the subcutaneous injections at home is great because it's easy and it's convenient. So you can build up to a higher dose and you can use it regularly, which you could get almost the same benefits as of doing an infusion. But the infusions are great because you can do a high dose at one time.
Understood. So for those who don't know, what is an infusion?
Excuse me.
You're good.
So getting an infusion is when you would put an IV in your arm and then you can infuse a high dose at one time. Okay. So most of my clients are doing 500 to 1,000 milligrams at a time when they're doing an infusion. When clients are injecting at home, usually they're injecting 50 to 100 milligrams at a time.
I see. So with you said it has a shorter half-life. So with an infusion, how long would the half-life be?
When you do an infusion, you're actually building up your stores so that it actually stays in your body longer. Okay. So if you're doing, for example, if you did a 50 milligram injection, I like to compare using NAD to putting gas in your car. So when you do injections, that's like putting $5 of gas in your car at a time. So you're going to constantly need to go back to the gas station to refuel because you're using that gas on a daily basis. So when you do an infusion of NAD, you are essentially filling up your gas tank, and then the store of NAD is going to last longer, and it's actually going to have more reparative or restorative benefits because your cells are actually marinating in it. You're not using all of the NAD that you've put into your body because you put it in a high dose, and so it can create more repair at the cellular level when you do the higher doses.
Okay, I see. If somebody's listening and they're like, okay, this sounds really cool, you know, and repairing and the fountain of youth and all of that, what are the most common symptoms that you see NAD make better?
NAD, I would say, I see the most dramatic impact in clients' energy levels, in their ability to focus, and in their stress and anxiety levels. So clients that come to me and they're complaining that they're just really tired all the time and they have a lot of fatigue, if they have a lot of stress or anxiety or brain fog, I feel like those symptoms, I've seen dramatic effects. So I have some clients where they may feel like the effects are subtle, and I have some clients where they feel like the effects are life-changing to the point that they can't get off this and they want to keep using it for life. Okay.
So other than like high performers, biohackers, who do you see benefits the most?
I feel like the average person that's tired or stressed or has anxiety, anybody like most often I treat clients that are in like their late 30s, 40s, maybe early 50s, clients that are experiencing the aging process and like age-related decline, and they want to feel like they did when they were in their 20s. Anybody that meets that criteria, I think, should be using NAD because it can just help you feel so much better.
How does lifestyle play a part? Do you find that people that are more active, have cleaner diets, they see better results? Or do you find that people that feel like crap all the time see a bigger change?
You know, honestly, a lot of my clients, I would say the majority of my clients are people that are seeking optimal wellness and are usually taking pretty good care of themselves in life. But I do have other clients that are starting from a lower point and they're trying to get better at how they take care of themselves. So I see both. I would say that the clients that are already taking pretty good care of themselves will see the bigger boost. So they will, I feel like because they're already doing well, they'll notice a greater like increase in mental clarity, better energy, mood improvement in mood. So, but I actually have several clients where anxiety is an issue. And they're mostly just using it for anxiety. And so it's really helped their anxiety to the point where they're not using medication anymore.
That's really good information.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because I think back to like my drinking days. Now, of course, I quit drinking way before NAD was even talked about.
Yeah.
Right. But I can remember like in my drinking days, I was still like active and in really good shape. I worked out every single day and I was always looking for a competitive edge to maintain my lifestyle. Yeah. And I found out that all of the things back then that were around, right, to help with focus, brain fog and things like that. Would it work? Maybe. But then I would turn out to like, and of course I'm an addict, so I would just turn out to using that to supplement my lifestyle. Yeah. Right. But when I became clean, when I became sober, and I started using products like NAD and certain peptides and other performance enhancing products, I found that I noticed them a lot more. Yeah. Right. One, I noticed them a lot more. And it wasn't necessarily that I noticed them in a positive or negative way. I just noticed that they're in my body more. Yeah. And this is me, and everybody's different. Yeah. But the ones that I found that ended up working for me, for example, like CJC and a handful of other peptides, when my body was optimized, in other words, not polluted, right? Yeah. That I noticed that it was far more effective. Yeah, definitely. And of course you're hydrated and things like that. Yeah. But that's where I want to make it perfectly clear that, I was an upscale dude, right? Yeah. That made good money and would buy products like this. Now, of course, NAD wasn't a thing at that point, but would buy products like this expecting to have a drastic change in my mental clarity. And I think that the conversation that we're having is more pointed towards people like that are trying to achieve longevity. Yeah. Right? Like, dog, if you're thinking like this is going to make it so you're the life of the party, it ain't going to work that way. No, definitely not. Yeah. But I know how I would think. Yeah. Right? No, I'm sober myself. I'll actually be celebrating 6 years sober in May. Wow, yes. Congratulations. And so, thank you. Yeah. And definitely I can relate to that. Like in the past, just trying to figure out what you could do to keep yourself going while maintaining that toxic lifestyle. And that's not really going to work. I mean, you could use NAD is actually also used for addiction recovery because it helps to repair your neurotransmitters. So if somebody has issues with addiction, they can NAD is actually used for patients that are detoxing from drugs and alcohol to help speed up the healing process and help to decrease the withdrawal symptoms. It's done in very high doses for something like that. So it can definitely help. But they're not giving NAD up at Charlie Street. No, definitely not. We're talking Malibu treatment centers. Definitely, yeah. It's definitely more like the Malibu treatment centers. So it can help with addiction, but generally you're going to see the greatest impact on clients that are seeking optimal wellness. Yeah. And you're going to get the most noticeable benefits. Nice. I wasn't trying to go down that road. It made me think because, if people are watching this, it's like, our goal is to promote healthy lifestyle. Our goal is to promote clear-mindedness and connection with other people. Our goal is to promote self-help, personal development, and things like that. So the purpose of what we want to be able to get out there is for people to know that this stuff exists.
Yeah.
And if you're watching so far and you guys like what you're seeing, make sure you click subscribe, okay? And we're going to put all of Lisa's information and the way that you can contact her right in here. But yeah, I think that's a very important thing to go with. What are some of the myths, though? What are some of the myths about NAD that you seem to hear that you could be like, nah, I wouldn't go that way?
I guess one myth about NAD would just be, they do call it the fountain of youth. So I wouldn't expect to use NAD and have it dramatically change your life if you're not accompanying it with a healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise, and doing everything else right. It can definitely supplement things that you're already doing and help you feel better, but it's not going to be the end all be all. Another thing about NAD that I think is a myth is some people that are familiar with NAD, they get really nervous to try an infusion because they hear about the side effects of an infusion. So when you're getting an infusion of NAD, you can experience nausea, dizziness, you can experience chest tightness, so you can experience loopiness. So people get nervous and think that maybe it's dangerous, maybe it's doing something to your heart, which is not true. So when you're getting an NAD infusion, you can experience those symptoms definitely, but they're not dangerous. So when NAD is infusing into your body, it can excite your mitochondria. It can activate your sympathetic nervous system. It can cause vasoconstriction. So none of those things are dangerous, but you can have some unpleasant or uncomfortable side effects during the infusion. But that's why they say an infusion can take so long. So when I'm giving a client an infusion, I usually tell them to prepare for 4 hours for a 500 milligram infusion. And that's just to make sure that we're giving the infusion at a rate that's comfortable for the patient. So, infusions can be costly as well. And that's part of the reason, because I'm sitting there with my patient and assessing them the whole time, making sure that they're comfortable, assessing checking their blood pressure, making sure that they are doing well during the infusion, and we are giving it the infusion at a rate that's comfortable. So, if you were getting an infusion right now and I was assessing you and you said that you were having some chest tightness, then I would ask you questions, what's your chest tightness 1 to 10? And if you said it was a 3 and you were comfortable, then we could keep the infusion going at that rate. If it made you feel nervous and you wanted to slow it down, then I would slow down the rate or stop it for a moment so that the symptoms would go away, because any unpleasant symptoms usually go away immediately once you stop the infusion.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
They don't linger. Yeah. So if you were having unpleasant symptoms at all and we stopped the infusion, within a couple minutes, they would go away. And then we could just start it back up again at a slower rate.
You've done multiple services on myself and one on my wife as well. And I take to it pretty well. The side effects that you're saying people experience, I definitely did, but they were not. And I experienced side effects. You're sensitive to side effects? Yeah, definitely. That's why I was telling you earlier about what I do with my supplementation protocols and things like that, and why I ditch everything so I can really know what's working and what isn't.
Yeah.
I call it a body audit,
Yeah.
And so, but I will tell you this, my experience with you servicing us was second to none.
Oh, thank you.
You came to our home, you made sure we were comfortable, you had us all set up, you're very personable. Obviously, it seems like you've been on 200 podcasts already. So you're really experienced, but
thank you.
Moving on, peptides.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're the peptide know-it-all, and it's taken over the world and all of this stuff. Oh gosh,
yeah. It's a hot new thing for sure. Yeah.
It is, but it really isn't.
Yeah.
Right? It's talked about more. You have to remember, when we started, a lot of us that have been in fitness and bodybuilding and stuff like that, we've been using peptides for over a decade.
Oh yeah.
And we've been getting source peptides. Nowadays it's forward-facing marketing and stuff like that, where we would go and buy not for human consumption peptides that we have them secretly, discreetly mailed to our homes and stuff like that. And now all of a sudden, because it's common to talk about them, injectable performance enhancing drugs are not as frowned upon anymore. Peptides are now marketed that they're already they're already in your body, things like that.
Yeah.
But what really makes them so effective?
So peptides are chains of amino acids that are naturally occurring in your body, and they can be synthesized in a lab as well. But because they bind to the receptors in your body, and because they're naturally occurring in your body, they're generally well tolerated. And also, the chains of amino acids can be made to bind to certain receptors in your body to produce a specific result. Mm-hmm. So depending on what you're looking for to optimize your health and wellness, there's a peptide for that.
Got it. A lot of us, and people in my circle, we're really into longevity, right? Like we want to look younger. We want anti-aging. We want to appear, well, just... We live in Southern California. Let's just call it what it is, right? Like we want to be beautiful. We want to be all of these things. Which peptides, in your opinion, are the best when it comes to anti-aging?
So for anti-aging, my top 3 would be NAD. Okay. And then also GHK-Cu, which is the copper peptide. Okay. And epitalon. Yeah. So NAD is, again, that one, it helps all of your cells function optimally. It creates cellular and DNA repair, can slow down aging, also help you to feel your best by repairing every cell in your body, helping with sleep, energy, focus, mental clarity, decreasing stress and anxiety. Copper is great because it nourishes the hair follicles, so it can help with hair growth, help keep your hair young and youthful. It helps boost collagen production. And then epitalon is great because it actually slows down aging at the cellular level as well. It lengthens your telomeres. So all the way down to the cellular level, it's slowing down the aging of your cells.
Tell me more about the hair growth.
You need help in that area?
Oh, shit.
I know, that's the one thing. And then for women too, because women's hair ages, it gets more brittle, it gets more dry, obviously changing in color. So nourishing the hair follicles can help with keeping your hair more youthful, can help stimulate. It can't regenerate new hair follicles, but the hair follicles that you do have, it can help keep your hair looking more youthful. I have clients that use it and they say they definitely notice that their hair is growing faster than it used to. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Consistency in everything. And I can tell you just again from experiencing and I've been using different products for over a decade now.
Yeah.
What kind of results will your clients see? And you have to use it consistently. So over time, what are some of the biggest things with peptides like this, other than like obviously the hair growth, skin, collagen, stuff like that? What do you find are the biggest rewards for using them consistently over time?
What are the biggest rewards for my clients?
Yeah. What have you seen?
I have clients that have had some fantastic body transformations. So clients that are putting in the work and they're already working out in the gym, but they just aren't getting the results that they're looking for. I've seen their body transform in ways where they're so excited because when they're using peptides, they go, oh my gosh, I would never be able to accomplish this on my own. So one example is like CJC Ipamorelin. So that one is one of the growth hormone stimulating peptides. Also Tessamorelin. So that one's great because it decreases visceral fat. So when you're working out and eating healthy, sometimes you need something more than diet and exercise to really take your fitness, wellness, and physique to the next level. So specifically the growth hormone releasing peptides can help with that. 100%. So as long as it's accompanied with a good diet and exercise program. So you really want to be engaging in weight-bearing exercise. And I always tell my clients that. So if a client wanted to use Tessamorelin or Ipamorelin to slim their waistline or increase their muscle mass, they could essentially take it and they may see some mild improvement if they weren't using diet and exercise as well. But I always recommend my clients not to waste their money or to use it unless they're doing everything else right. It should really be an accompaniment to diet and exercise if you really want to see optimal results.
Does strength training allow you to metabolize the product better?
Definitely. Yes. You would definitely want to be using strength training. That's the most important component of seeing the best results is weight-bearing activity and strength training.
That's just the case for everything, all right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of women, and this isn't a little off topic, but I think a lot of women get concerned about strength training because they're going to get too big and whatever. And then you mix it with products like a growth hormone product and things like that women get concerned about that. In terms of, for women especially, any hormonal side effect, anything that you found that could be negative with hormone?
Oh, increasing growth hormone in your body. So something you want to be really careful with is none of the growth hormone releasing peptides would be approved if you have any cancer in your body. So you want to make sure that you're cancer free. And I do have patients that have a history of cancer that I treat, but only after they've spoken to their oncologist or their doctor about a potential treatment plan. And I've received approval from their oncologist or doctor, letting me know that they are cancer-free and that they're approved for treatment. So
it's good to know.
Yeah, I do. Any clients that I have that have any type of complicated medical history, I always have them speak to their doctor or specialist first, and I require a letter of approval before I treat them. So safety is of the utmost importance to me.
100%.
Utmost importance to me. Yeah.
I know. I got what you were saying too. And then on the safety side of things, there in my world, obviously, I'm always around, bodybuilders, fitness coaches, fitness professionals, things like that, and we constantly are seeing them advertising their code for the websites that sell products like this.
Yeah.
What's your take on buying products like this from random websites online?
I strongly recommend against it. I think it's very important for clients, for people to buy their peptides from a medical professional because, well, for one, my company, I make sure that I use all of the highest quality products, all of the purest products. So my medical director, he vets all of the products that we use. So he's looked at and tested many different peptide companies to ensure that it's a good fit for our clients. Looking at the testing for quality and purity, making sure that we have regular third-party testing, not of just one batch, but of multiple batches, and ongoing testing of the products to make sure that it's the highest quality and purity, making sure that our clients are getting the best results and using the safest of products. And then also, I have clients that want to get approved for peptides. And I have a medical clearance process that I use, and not everybody is approved. So there are clients that they have medical conditions where they shouldn't be using these products. And if they were to just buy something online, they could be actually putting themselves in harm's way. They could be causing more problems for themselves. So I think it's important to consult with a medical professional to make sure that the products that you're considering using are appropriate for you, considering your medical conditions. And also just to make sure that they are getting products that are of the highest quality and purity.
Yeah. Don't buy your drugs from the website, kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
definitely not.
Spend the money, do it the right way, obviously. And speaking of spending the money, kind of take me through. Now, I have sat from a client's point of view.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're also friends. And you're also a client of mine. So yes. I am biased.
Yeah.
I'm going to sing Lisa's name at the rooftops, right? Yeah. But walk us through, because you both have a brick and mortar, and you do home visits. I've seen you do yacht visits. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that, guys? If you guys are rolling around in a big boat in Orange County, put the Grey Goose away. Okay. Yeah. Put the drinks away. The real flex, you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys, the real flex is having Lisa come on your big ass ship.
Yeah.
And have her jab you, put a bag up and enjoy your life. Enjoy this wonderful thing. But tell me, what does a client expect when they come see you? Because again, my word doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Because I'm biased.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. But tell me.
So what can a client expect when they see me?
Yeah.
So whenever I have a new client walk through my doors, or whether I see, I treat clients online, I have phone consultations, I ship to clients, I see clients in their home, I see clients in their office. But anytime I have an encounter with a new potential client, I always let them know that our relationship doesn't end once they make a purchase from me. All of my clients have my phone number. They can text me at any time. It's important to me to be responsive to my clients, to answer all of their questions, and to continue to guide them on their wellness journey. So I have clients where they're like, oh, I was nervous to text you. Like they'll come in for the next appointment and they'll be like, oh, I was experiencing this and I was nervous to text you, and I'm like, you can text me anytime. Like you're never bothering me. Like I'm always here to support you. So reach out to me anytime. And that's part of the concierge wellness aspect of my business. So I'm not just selling you something and then you never hear from me again. I check in on my patients. If you have any questions or concerns, I want to hear from you and make sure that you're looking and feeling your best.
I think it's important to note that in today's age in business, communication, expectations are so high, right?
Yeah.
I used to say like, you got to under promise and over deliver. Nope. You have to over promise and over deliver to be competitive these days. So it's 100% true. And I love what you said is like, it's like people feel like they're bothering you or they're afraid to reach out to you. And it's like, you got to realize, guys, like if you pay us money, we expect you to take advantage of our services. That doesn't mean abuse our friendliness and our service, but we don't know what we don't know. So if we're facilitating something for you, it's important that you communicate to us. It's not a matter of bothering. As a matter of fact, if anything, we want to be able to give you even better service. So you continue to come back to us. And I think it's important for you guys to realize that if you are the type of person that's like, oh, I don't want to bother you, whatever. So, let's talk about some of your clients' transformations. Give me a story of one. You don't have to say any names or anything. But give me a story of a transformation that someone came to you broken, lost, down, out, that now has a different situation.
Well, I have a client that I've been treating for several months now, and he was suffering from severe anxiety and had some anger management issues. And he started using NAD just to kind of give it a try. And he says he can't get off it now. And his wife texts me to thank me because of how different he is when he's using it. Wow. So it just has completely transformed his mood and his overall temperament. Wow. So better focus, less anxiety, just feeling happier all the time. So that's one amazing transformation, just using NAD alone.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And then I have another client where she was using CJC Ipamorelin and she works out very regularly. She's in great shape. And she's a bodybuilder. And she would show me her pictures during her cutting phase of, preparing for her competition. And she would point out muscle definition that she had not had before prior to using the CJC Ipamorelin peptide.
Wicked.
Yeah.
It's funny because whenever I talk to a client in terms of like health, wellness, sobriety and stuff like that I work with, and I'll ask them, I'm like, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm just, I've got, my energy, I guess my sleep's good. I eat clean, right? And you're like, okay, what does that really mean? But people don't realize how crappy they felt until they start to feel good.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Baseline for most people is a trash diet, not enough movement, definitely not enough sleep, stress, anxiety, depression, and all of those things. So when you tell me a situation like this, it's like that person, that was their baseline.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Anxiety, anger problems, relationship issues. Sounds like his wife was fed up at one point, right? Like, and it's like you don't realize how shitty you felt until you start feeling good. And people need to realize like baseline is not okay. Like,
no. Yeah. We want to be optimal. Yeah.
I mean, 80% of the population is unhappy with the way they feel, look, live, so on and so forth. So, I like to be able to have that supplemental, assistance, and it's like you start to feel good. You start to sleep well, you start to move, you start to diet, you're hydrated, all of these things. And then all of a sudden you find this edge and it gives you a total boost, a total game-changing boost. And for guys too that are competitive, right? Like you got to realize, guys, if you're like not sleeping, not training, you're drinking and treating your body like trash, there's a whole army of men that are on this stuff.
Yeah.
and we're training and we have a competitive edge. And it's like, guys, like if you're sitting at baseline, you got to realize that the next level of human being is on things like NAD, peptides, and all of this stuff. And we're all training, we're focused, we're hydrated, we're sleeping. You're going to be obsolete by this new generation of man who have found people like Lisa.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
If somebody's listening to this and they're saying like, you know, I'm interested, I want to know more, what's the first step that they should take?
Well, if you're interested in learning more about my services, you can check out my Instagram, and my Instagram handle is Hydration by Lisa. You can also go to my website, which is www.hydrationbylisa.com. And I would start there.
Awesome. Kind of an off-the-wall question.
Yeah.
What's kind of your vision? What's the future of IV therapy? What is it going to look like?
I would love to be considered part of a mainstream treatment plan for every patient. I think it should be considered part of everybody's traditional wellness plan.
Wow.
Yeah, and peptides too. You know, I feel like these things are, right now they're considered alternative therapies, but they produce such fantastic results and they're really safe. And I think that everybody should be using it. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to put all of Lisa's contact stuff below. If you guys are watching this and you like what you've heard and you want to know more, especially if you live in the Orange County area, again, non-biased.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go anywhere else, but that's up to you guys. Okay. Anything you want to wrap up by saying?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be able to share my passion for health and wellness with others. So.
Oh, this was great.
Yeah, thank you.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for listening. Once again, if you would, go ahead and click the like button. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go check out Lisa's page. She has a fantastic page, fantastic content. I'd like to say I would have been able to help a little bit with that. And we'll catch you next time on the Justin Wenzel Podcast. We are out.